everyone, it's Barbara. I had not intended to wait this long to post the remainder of the flip through of my December daily album, but things just kind of got crazy and I haven't had a chance to sit down and do it. So here I am to sit down and do it. Initially, my intention was to show a week at a time, but since I haven't shown anything except for the first 1 to 7 days, I'm going to go ahead and try to finish all of it right now. So the last time we were here, we showed day 7. So I'm going to go ahead and show you day 8. Day 8 was a day we surprised my daughter. It was her 10th birthday on the 10th, and we decided to take her to Lake Tahoe for the weekend. So the 8th was the day that we did that. So that's why she has the number 10 balloons. I always get her balloons on her birthday. So we used them to announce that we were taking her away on the trip. So that was super fun. This was a quick spread. This is a Blind Emboss card from Kelly Purkey. You can kind of see it there in the light. This was also a Kelly Purkey card. Kept the color scheme fairly blue because the next page has blue on it as well. So then here was our first day in Lake Tahoe. This was one of the Kelly cards. This was as well, and this was one of the rubber elements from Ellie Edwards this year. I wanted to try to tie in the aqua, and I like the way that that worked. These 2x2 pockets, I don't typically use them in my albums, mainly because I don't think they ever look good when I do it. And I think so many other people do it really well, so I let them do it, and I just kind of skip it usually. But for something like this, I thought it was really fun. And what I did here is I did cut, let me see if I can get one out. I did cut pieces of clear plastic to staple my, there we go, to staple my letters to. And the reason I could have stapled the letter directly to the pocket, but I didn't want the back of the staple to rub against the photo. So I wanted to put it in the pocket. So I just cut 2x2 pieces of plastic and then adhered this alpha. This is a plastic alpha that I think was from Heidi Swap several years ago. I had all the letters I needed, so it worked. And then I just slipped the plastic back in. Of course, on video, I'm not going to get it back in. Maybe I will. Nope. Okay. So I would just slip them back into the pockets and it's nice and smooth on the back. So I just added in a couple of stars, the number for the day, and then I backed it with the photo, and I like how it looks with the clear on top of the photo. So that was super fun. This is her actual birthday, the 10th. So we had a family party that night. Her little cake. This was a digital from Studio Calico. I kept it super simple. We had to come back from Tahoe because she had a soccer game that day. So I got cupcakes to give to the team. So there was that. On the 11th, this was a cutout from My Mind's Eye, I believe. And it was intended to be a banner. And you can see the little hole punches. And I really just liked the Santa cutout. So I wanted to make a page of it. I used Studio Calico made a metal die set that makes these attachers. So I used a single one and a double one to hook it in. And then I just backed it with a photo. This was a cute little Santa cocoa mug. This is a postcard from Rifle Paper Company, and I used it here because we saw Santa when we were in Tahoe. So I backed the card with some journaling. This is an In a Creative Bubble element. It's meant to be a 3x8 journaling card, but I just made it small and put it on a 6x4, and it totally worked. This rubber embellishment is from Felicity Jane. Santa picture. These word strips, the top two are Tim Holtz. This bottom one was from Ellie Edwards last year, and then these are the Kelly Purkey numbers from this year. This was a fun page. I had taken a photo of the shopping cart at Target last year, and I really liked how it looked. And originally the photo is quite large, and there's more of the store visible in this part of the photo. I just did a tight crop, and this was a digital element. It was actually a piece of paper from Kelly's kit. And since I had them digitally, I just laid the words right on top of the white space of my photo, added in some text, and that was it. And I really like how that one turned out. Day 14, this was also a card from, or a piece of paper from the Traveler's Notebook kit that Kelly did. And I really liked the tree, and I wanted to incorporate it with a photo of our tree for that day. So what I did is I just fussy cut around the tree. And then I also had the PDF file of the paper. So I was able to print out or excuse me, I was able to use this as a template so I could lay out my journaling. And then what I did is, this was also a piece of paper from her kit. So I was able to print this paper onto vellum, so it was kind of a mirror. And then when it opens, it's like a little book. And then there's my little story about the day. It's mainly about our tree. And then I just stamped in a few stamps. Here's a stamp. And then what I did is I left space when I was doing my text, because I knew I wanted to put enamel dots on there so it kind of looked like Christmas ornaments. So I really like the way this came out, and I like how the pages are kind of interactive and turn. And then below it is just a picture of our tree this year. I didn't add any other embellishments. Day 15 was a run around errand day, but it was also the day that we went to Starbucks. My daughter, it was after school and we had to go get some stuff. So we popped in. I took a picture just so I could get the cup in there. I layered a few cards from Kelly's kits. And then I used these itty bitty little heart or star paper clips from Felicity Jane. And inside this little bag, I added some more stuff. So there is a journaling card from In a Creative Bubble that I just bumped up the size to 4x6 so that I could add the story. And on the back is a Starbucks postcard that they handed out this year. And then just a couple more pictures. So super easy, super fast. And they just tuck right in. On the back side, my girlfriend and I took our kids to a holiday market, and there was this this really tall guy dressed up as Buddy the Elf, and he was hilarious and so much fun and had a good time taking pictures with us. So I wanted to document it. I just used some of Kelly's alpha stamps that she released in December and stamped the word elf repeatedly. This was a piece of paper from her kit, I believe, and I just cut it to look like a tag. This was a stamp set of speech bubbles. It goes with this one. And then that month she had a stamp set where you could create your own journaling cards. So I did use that to create the journaling card. On the 17th, I didn't really have a story to tell that day, so I wasn't sure what to put in. So I decided to add in something about the cards that we receive. I've never told that story before, so I thought it was fun to include it. So what I did is these are 3 journaling cards from In a Creative Bubble. These are filler cards. I liked them because they had stamps. I laid out some of the envelopes we'd received just so it would show the stamps. And then on this side, I used a transparency and added the numbers to it. And then when you flip it open, I just laid out on a whiteboard like this, just all the cards that we had up to that point. It's not all that we received, but it was what we had on that day. And I just laid them out, overlapping them. I didn't really care. And I love how this turned out. Initially, when I created the page, I had the 17 right on top, but I didn't like it because it was covering some of the kids' faces on these pictures. So I took it off and moved the numbers to the transparency so you could still see all of the pictures. And I really like how that turned out. On the 18th, I went to a cookie exchange party. This was my first time ever going to one, and my girlfriend has it like every year, and I've never been able to go. So I was super excited that I could actually go. So these are the cookies that I made. They were white chocolate sugar or peppermint sugar cookies, candy cane peppermint sugar cookies. And you dip them in white chocolate and you sprinkle little candy canes on them, and they were yummy. So this was a letterpress sheet from Kelly's Traveler's Notebook kit, and I really liked it, and I thought it paired with the red and white really well, so I wanted to make sure to use it. And I just clipped a couple photos. I saved the Facebook invite and tucked that in just because I thought it was cute, and used another one of those little star paper clips from Felicity Jane. I ran this through my typewriter just to add this text, and it totally worked. It didn't muck it up too badly. And then on the back, day 19, about wrapping paper. I had actually purchased different wrapping paper to use for this year, and I still used it. And then I found this paper and I absolutely loved it. So it became the story instead. And I really love the graphic nature, and I'm super bummed I didn't pick up another roll, but the paper came from Target. And to keep it simple, I just made a large text file, just wrote wrapping paper. This is a chipboard number, this is chipboard, another chipboard, and then I just added in little type text. But I love that. On the 20th, this was a day where we had 2 very distinctive stories to tell, and I didn't want to leave one of them out. So I had created a mini album a while ago that used this similar design, and it's basically a pocket that opens. I used it as a base of a mini album, so I just replicated it. added in some journaling, and then inside the pocket are photos from my daughter's gingerbread house making party at school. My friend Deanna was there and she snapped a picture of me, so yay. So that was fun. And then that night we had our friends over for a pizza making night and a movie night. And then I made a hot cocoa bar, which is right here. So these are pictures from that night. All of us, the kiddos, and then them making their cocoa. Oh, a couple last picture. And this was funny. So I love that. And I love having loose photos, and I love having things that you have to open. I've said that a million times. These are just Velcro dots that I used to close it. And then I used a Kelly Perky paper to line this part of it. I didn't need to worry about the back because it has this photo on it. So I just lined these two sides of it so it would look pretty and left the white inside plain. And then just kept the photo by itself. And I love that. This was a really fun night. You should do this if you've never done one. The kids loved it. On the 21st, this was again probably another day where I didn't have a super standout story to tell. So I decided to talk about believing because it's important to me. This was a dashboard for a Studio Calico planner add-on. And I loved it. And I bought it during their sale because I saw this and I knew I wanted to put it in my December daily. So I bought it. I just used a transparency. I don't remember where I got this one. I think it's a few years old. This was one of the Kelly cards. These are Tim Holtz word strips. And I did that so I could add a story without needing to use a pocket. It was really important to me, or I just really didn't feel like using pockets this year. So any way that I can get away with not using a pocket, I'm going to figure out a way. So one way is to use transparencies that you back and still get an extra sheet in there without impeding your overall story. Does that make sense? Okay. So I used in a Create a Bubble journaling card back here, and the main reason I picked it was because she had designated believing on there, and I love that. So a little story, little picture. It's about this pillow that says, "In this house we believe." This was a chipboard from last year's kit, I believe. So again, so simple. On the 22nd, we made gingerbread houses with our friends, and we did the Starbucks kits. We did them together last year, so we wanted to do it again this year. So I took a photo of the box and then just laid it out. I couldn't get it to crop the full 5x7 size, so I had to leave a little border down here, but I don't care. The kiddos, and then a few extra photos, and then some journaling. This was a sticker that Starbucks passed out this year, and I just turned it into a journaling card by blocking out how much room it would take and leaving space. And there's a couple more photos of my daughter making hers. And one thing I do when pages like this, when I want to use clips like this, is I sandwich the clip between the two pages so the clip doesn't come out. It's kind of glued in there. And I like that because you have the element on this side, but when you turn it, you don't really see it. You just see a tiny bit. And that otherwise the clip would be covering up this text, and I don't like that. I want it to be just here and not on the back. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's another journaling card from In a Create a Bubble. Are you sensing a pattern here? That I enlarged. This is 5x7, just to give me more room for the story, and a simple photo with a number. My daughter adds something to her stocking every year, and this year it was a Harry Potter lightning bolt because it's all about Harry Potter. So that was fun. And the 24th. So this was one of those days where, again, I had multiple things to talk about, so I didn't want to leave anything out. So what I did here is I did use pockets just because it worked for me. So what I did is I cut one of these 4x4 pockets down so I could have a little bit more space, but I didn't want to because that seemed like too much. So this was a piece of paper from the Kelly Perky kits, and I just typed up I have the PDF file, so I typed up my journaling in list form instead. These are from some stamps from, I can't remember if it's Jamaica's kit or the Traveler's Notebook kit. And then this was from Felicity Jane. And then I had a few chipboards from the Paisley Press mini kit that I really wanted to use. So I added it here because it was dated. So then I just added in a tab. These are Tim Holtz word strips. So there's pictures about us going to the movies, and then pictures making cookies with our friends. and then pictures of the evening when we put out cookies for Santa. And I didn't feel like I needed to have a bunch of giant photos for this because it's the same thing every year. And I thought it was okay to tell more of the story about our time with our friends because that was unusual. We don't usually see them on Christmas Eve, and it was super fun that they came and made Santa cookies with us. So I wanted to tell different parts of that day. So it's okay that these are small when normally they would have probably been large. So, and then on the 25th, this is another chipboard from the Paisley Press mini kit. And I like that it said Christmas morning. So I used it because these are all pictures from Christmas morning. And then normally what I do is I make the same template every year for Christmas pictures. And I've done it for the last like 3 or 4 years. And I had it all ready, and it was a 6x8 and it would just fit right here. And I looked at it, I'm like, you know what? I've done that so much and I wanted it to be different and I was bored by it. So I just pushed it aside and I'm like, let me think about how I want to handle these Christmas pictures and the Christmas story. And I just got up from my desk and walked around for a while and came back and I'm like, well, let me see if there's something in my stash that I haven't used. This project's coming to an end. What do I really want to use? And I came across this rifle paper greeting card. And I had bought this intentionally because I really like the pink and I really like the olive. And I thought it went with the olive album. And I thought it would be a pretty fun element to add. So I decided to turn it into a little booklet. So what I did is I just created vellum pages. And this is like 65 pound, I think it is, vellum. So it's a little bit thicker, but you can still see through it. So I used the same journaling card. I used 2 of them back to back because I had a lot to say and I couldn't fit it just on one. It would have been super tiny. So I just used 2 and backed it. And then I just started adding in the photos. I liked this one. These are 2 journaling cards. This is the same front that I used on the title page. This was Studio Calico. And this was a rubber element from the Paisley Press kit. And again, it's dated, so I kind of had to use it. So I put it here. And then, see, here you can see, this is the back of that previous journaling card. So the vellum is still thick enough that you could see through, but it's nice and muted. So I just used it as an element. And this is that template that I had originally created. I just shrank it down so it would fit this space. And it's a way to get additional photos of my daughter from Christmas morning. And I love it. And I just left this blank. So then I attached these little plastic attach me stickers. These are basic gray. They're discontinued. I get asked about them all the time, but you can still find some on Google, or if you Google basic gray attach me stickers, you will find there's still a few people out there that are selling them. You're just going to find odd colors. You're not going to find clear, but the green worked. So, and then, so that's basically it. That is, I only go to the 25th. I don't continue on to the 31st. And so that is, in all essence, the end of the album. But because we have an elf in our life, I always like to include pictures of what the elf did while she was visiting. Our elf's name is Twinkle, so that is a nice bonus because this Studio Calico card, I knew the minute I saw it that I would use it here, so it ended up here. I decorated the back side of the envelope. This is a Push Print Studios printable that I just cut down and adhered to the back of the card just because I didn't want to leave it plain. So for this, what I did is I created a waterfall in order to showcase the photos. So I figured out this is like the same size as the title page. So I think it's like 6 3/4 by 8 1/2 or 8 1/4 or something like that. And that's my base page. And then what I did is I laid out a template in Photoshop. These are 5 by 3 and I could get 3 photos on it. And I just created a template and I cut them all out. And then I cut, you can see here, little strips of cardstock. I'll bend this one up. So they lay flat. This is the strip holding this photo. So it's a 1/2 inch and then there's a 1/4 inch that's attached to the back side of the photo. So it's a 1 inch or a 3/4 inch strip that's 5 inches wide. I scored 1/4 inch from the edge, laid the photo down, and then glued this strip to the backing sheet. Does that make sense? So then they flip up. And you'll notice here we skipped 9 because that's when we were in Tahoe. So Twinkle didn't make an appearance that day. So they just all flip up. And then I used the black stickers that came in the Jamaica kit from Kelly. I just cut them down to label the days so we would know what was what day. And I love how this turned out. I thought it was super cute. It's a compact way to get all the pictures in without taking it too much space. And then because I only had 2 on the last page, I just extended this one so it wouldn't look awkward having a blank space. So they lay nice and flat. And then I created a little journaling spot to go on the back side of the front flap. This is another 3x8 in a Creative Bubble journaling card that I cut down. And then I just highlighted the letters that spell elf. So that was super fun and easy. And then this is the envelope that goes with this card. I just taped it to, or attached it to the inside cover. And then these are the little notes that Twinkle left for my daughter. And then this is her Christmas wish list that we never got around to mailing to Santa. So I saved it and tucked it in just because it was a super cute card. I can't remember where. I bought it at Home Goods. Of course, the designer's not on here, but it was really cute. If I can find out who I got it from, I'll put it in the notes of the description box because it was a really cute card. I'm sure Santa's upset he never got it. So anyway, those things just tuck in. So that is it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I know I kind of talked really fast, but I didn't want it to be a 30-minute video, and it looks like it's about 20-something minutes, so that's not too bad. So anyway, like I said, if you have any questions, just holler, and sorry it's so late, but if you're still working, hopefully this might give you a little bit of inspiration. Again, love making this project, and it was super fun. I did mention in my final blog post of all the images that I kind of struggled this year trying to come up with new and fun ideas, and it was really hard for me this year. So I think it might be time for a size change just to shake things up. So who knows what'll happen. I've got, 11 months, 10 months to figure it out. So anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.